Have you ever found yourself in a situation where everyone around you is acting like everything is completely normal, but something just feels off? Like stepping into a public restroom in America, not because it's dirty, not because it smells, but because there's a huge gap between the door and the wall, wide enough to make eye contact with the person outside. And yet, everyone is going about their business like it's no big deal. Meanwhile, you're just standing there, holding your breath. Or you walk into a diner, order a side of fries, and what shows up is a golden mountain of carbs. It says, serves one, but it looks like it could feed an entire high school football team. Everyone else is happily munching away. You, on the other hand, are wondering whether to eat or call for backup. In America, there are things that are completely normal, done daily, unquestioned, accepted. But if you pause, just for a moment, and really look, you might notice something strange. Not wrong exactly, but definitely not normal in the way you thought. Today, we're diving into the world of everyday American habits, things that seem totally fine until you take a closer look. And when you do, you might just find yourself asking, wait, why is that even a thing? Public restrooms with gaps, privacy optional. Let's start with a classic, American public restrooms. If you've ever used one, you've probably noticed the unsettling fact that the stall doors don't fully close. There's a large, often finger-width gap between the door and the frame. Sometimes you can even make eye contact with someone outside. It's a moment of pure awkwardness. To Americans, this is just how things are. But to many visitors, it's a privacy nightmare. In countries like Germany or Japan, bathroom stalls are built for actual seclusion, floor-to-ceiling panels, tightly sealed doors, and peace of mind. Why are American stalls built this way? Theories range from safety, so people can be seen if unconscious, to cost-saving, to discouraging, let's just say, unsanitary behavior. But still, it's hard not to feel exposed. You're doing one of the most private things a human can do, with a gap that makes you feel like you're on display. Normal? Technically. Comfortable? Not quite. Ice in every drink, even when it's freezing. Imagine this. It's snowing outside. Your breath fogs up the air. You walk into a restaurant, sit down, and ask for a glass of water. What do you get? A tall cup packed with ice, so much that the water is basically just melting cubes. Americans love ice. Love it. It's everywhere. In water, soda, even in wine sometimes. While most of the world prefers room temperature beverages, or at least not ice cold in the US, a drink without ice feels incomplete. But here's the strange part. There's no health benefit. In fact, drinking ice-cold water can shock the system and, for some, upset digestion. And don't get us started on the ice-to-liquid ratio. It often means you're paying for a half-empty cup. Cultural habit? Sure, but visitors often find it bizarre. In Italy, servers might raise an eyebrow if you ask for ice. In China, warm water is considered better for your body. In America, if there's no ice, something's wrong. So the next time you hear someone crunching through a glacier in their soda, just remember, it's not strange here. It's just tradition. Tipping, a kind of financial peer pressure. Here's a hot button topic. Tipping. In the US, tipping isn't just polite, it's mandatory. Go out to eat, and you're expected to leave 15.20% of the bill. Not tipping can lead to dirty looks, awkward confrontations, or even being chased down the street. But here's what makes this normal practice feel odd: the system itself. In many countries, workers in the service industry are paid livable wages. Tipping is optional, often reserved for exceptional service. But in the US, many servers earn just a few dollars an hour and rely on tips to survive. It's an invisible social contract. The customer takes on the responsibility of paying a portion of the worker's wage. If you don't tip, you're not just being stingy, you're seen as cruel. It's financial guilt wrapped in a dinner receipt. It gets weirder. You tip your hairdresser, the pizza guy, your barista, but not your mechanic, your nurse, or your dentist. Where's the line? It's blurry at best. Tipping, in theory, rewards good service, but in practice, it often feels like a confusing maze of expectations. And for many foreigners, it's just plain stressful. Supersized portions, food for 1 or 10. Ever ordered a small drink in America? Joke's on you. What you'll likely get is a container big enough to drown a toddler. American portion sizes are generous, to say the least. What's labeled as small here would be considered large elsewhere. Burgers come stacked with layers of meat and cheese. Fries spill out of the carton. And milkshakes could double as meal replacements. It's not just fast food. Even sit-down restaurants bring out plates the size of steering wheels. You might go in for lunch and come out with a meal for tomorrow too, thanks to the to-go box culture. The rationale is often more value for your money. But over time, this normalcy has contributed to overeating and rising obesity rates. The average American restaurant meal is around twice the recommended portion size. In Europe, meals are modest and balanced. In Japan, precision and portion control are art forms. In America, the bigger, the better, even if you can't finish it. So next time you're in a diner and your plate arrives looking like a buffet, remember, it's not a mistake. It's just how things are. Cars rule everything. Walking is a luxury. In many parts of the world, walking is part of daily life. You walk to the market, the train station, school, work. In the US, not so much. Especially outside of major cities, walking is considered abnormal. American suburbs are designed for cars, not feet. There are neighborhoods where there are no sidewalks. Want to go to the grocery store across the street? Better drive. And then there's the gas station ritual. In most states, you pump before you pay. That's right, stations assume you'll fill up and then come inside to settle the bill. It's a system based on trust, or perhaps optimism. Car culture runs deep. Teens dream of getting their licenses, not their first bike. Drive-thrus exist not just for food, but for pharmacies, banks, and even weddings. The result? A country where mobility depends heavily on a vehicle. If you don't have one, you're often stranded. In cities like New York, walking is king. But elsewhere, the car isn't just transportation, it's freedom, identity, even a social symbol. And it's so normal that people don't question it until their car breaks down. And suddenly, they realize how little of their town is built for people on foot. American flags, everywhere. In most countries, the national flag is reserved for government buildings or special occasions. But in the US, it's everywhere. Schools, homes, lawns, bumper stickers, coffee mugs, even underwear. This display of patriotism is uniquely American. The flag isn't just a symbol, it's an identity. Pledging allegiance in school? Totally normal. Hanging a flag outside your house year-round? Expected, even admired. To outsiders, it can feel a bit intense. In Germany, flag waving is reserved for World Cup matches. In Japan, patriotism is subtle. But in the US, the flag is a centerpiece of daily life. It's tied to pride, sacrifice, and freedom, but also to politics, war, and protest. Some see it as a unifier. Others see it as a divider. But no one can deny its omnipresence. It's normal here. But if you're not from around here, it might make you stop and wonder, why does the flag feel like it's watching me from every corner? Don't touch me. Personal space is sacred. In many cultures, physical contact is part of everyday interaction. A kiss on the cheek in France. A warm hug in Latin America. A friendly arm grab in Italy. But in America? Please don't touch me. Americans value personal space a lot, even among close friends. Hugs can feel formal, and a pat on the back is about as far as casual affection goes. Strangers standing too close in line? Social crime. Sitting next to someone on an empty bus? Practically harassment. It's not about being unfriendly. In fact, Americans are often very warm verbally. Smiles, how are yous, and small talk are abundant. But physically, boundaries are firm. COVID only made this more intense. Handshakes faded, elbow bumps became the norm, and personal space expanded from a bubble to a force field. To outsiders, it can feel cold, but for many Americans, this space equals respect. Getting too close too quickly? That's just uncomfortable. These quirks may seem odd at first glance, but they're woven deep into the fabric of American culture. Some are charming, others confusing, but they all reflect a bigger picture. What one country sees as normal often depends on where you're standing. And sometimes, questioning the normal is the first step to understanding it. So here's the thing: none of these quirks make America wrong, or broken, or weird. They just make it American. Every country has its own strange little habits that feel perfectly normal on the inside, but a little bizarre from the outside. And that's the beauty of it. By looking closely at these normal but not quite normal things, we get to laugh, reflect, and maybe even understand each other a little better. That awkward restroom gap, the giant soda cup, the ever-present flag, they're not just cultural oddities. They're conversation starters. They're reminders that normal is relative. If you've ever lived in or visited the US, You probably have your own, wait, what, moment. And if you haven't, well, now you know what to expect. So what's the one thing you've seen in America that made you pause and think, is this real life? Drop it in the comments. Let's trade stories, laugh a little, and keep questioning the everyday. Because sometimes, the most ordinary things are where the real stories hide. And hey, if this made you smile or nod in agreement, give it a like, hit subscribe, and stick around. We've got plenty more, normal but not, moments to explore together.